Right, guys, Sean here, and this is what it's come to. I'm absolutely annoyed. I'm here sitting on my floor with loose women on the TV behind me. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because there's so much nonsense that gets put out there. It's just ridiculous. Now, there's this girl. I'm not really big on the whole celebrity thing and reality TV, but her name's Chantel, and she used to be slim and she's gained 6 stone over the last few years, and magazines kind of like always go on at her about her weight and this and that. And listen, let me put out a little mini disclaimer. I'm not into body shaming. If you want to be, 6 stone over the ideal body weight, then that's cool. That is completely fine. But when there's false information getting put out there, when talking about these issues, that's when I feel the need to chime in. So I was watching this. Now, if this girl was just saying, I just wasn't really happy. I feel happy in myself now. I understand it can promote a bad image with regards to promoting obesity and stuff like that. But this is kind of where I'm at right now. I eventually want to get healthy. That's cool, but when people start saying stuff that's false and gives people false ideas and makes people then make bad choices and become obese themselves because they associate because basically people like this start saying stuff that makes people associate negative thoughts and negative actions towards just being healthy and being in shape. So I am literally going to sit here right now and I'm gonna be playing this. As I say, I'm on my floor and this is what it's come to. So let's break it down. Let's just break this nonsense down. The lighting's not the best, but we're here and we're going to do it anyway. Hopefully you can hear this as well. So angry. I'm so angry. Right, you ready? Here we go. Here we go.
I have to look at that because that is tiny.
I know.
That really is.
Yeah, but I was so miserable. All I had was a burger. You know what I mean?
Why you want to diet the whole?
Right, with the one thing, she's not tiny. The cardboard cutout is not tiny. She's just slim and petite. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is tiny.
that is small, isn't it? Yeah, but I was only 19 as well.
How old are you now?
Perfectly normal.
28.
And you've had a kid since then, or
Yeah.
had you already had one?
No, I've had one since.
Because obviously I've seen. Can I put it down? You put it down.
Yeah, please put it down.
Yeah. Because you were tiny and then went big, then tiny. I actually thought.
Classic signs of someone with a bad relationship with food. They have bad relationship with dieting and the body straight away. She's yo-yoed up and down. So straight away we know that this is going to be bad. Here we go.
At one point, you must have had a gastric ban because how on earth do you lose weight that quick? You must have been
Starving herself, crash dieting, and then binging again.
absolutely addicted to it.
I was just so evil. But I was starving all the time.
Which is actually not necessary. She says she's starving all the time, so that makes people think when they see her as that. A lot of people probably look at her as that slim person and go, "Oh my God, she looks great," and then she comes out and says, "I was starving all the time. I was absolutely starving." Listen, as someone who runs a gym and who's personal trained for the last 5 years, you do not need to starve yourself to get lean and to get healthy. That's that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really, really hungry.
That is by no means skinny. That's not skinny. She's just trim, lean, but she has no muscle definition. So I guarantee that she wasn't even training with weights. She was probably just going to the gym, doing loads of cardio, starving herself. But then for a few days, she was binging. She was binge eating. So binging and then starving herself, binging and starving herself. Because if she was always starving herself on 500 calories, she'd be a lot skinnier than this. So there's another false thing.
Yeah, that was on my birthday last year. I mean.
Once again, there's no sort of and she looks great. She looks if that's a goal, that's cool. I'm not hating. I'm just putting the truth out there. There's no sort of muscle definition. You can see in her legs, no sort of muscle definition. She's just slim and petite. That's it. But you can actually see she's still got a little bit of body fat on her stomach. But she's saying that she was starving herself, which means that she was probably starving herself and then binging to offset that.
It's casual underwear selfie, isn't it?
But did it feel different with clothes and?
Yeah, it did, but I was always in a bad mood.
But why did you?
Because
why
you're
did
starving
you do
yourself.
that? Did you feel under pressure to be that size at the time?
Well, at the time, like, there were still loads of lads magazines around and stuff. There isn't anymore, so don't need to be that size. So, you know what it's like, you've got to be slim to work in that industry.
Or get it
Right.
sucked out.
Yeah, which I've done also.
or get it sucked out. Yeah, there you go. That's promoting a very positive thing in people's minds, isn't it? Well, in Katie.
But it comes back.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't it?
if you don't
If
enjoy it.
if you've had liposuction and you've been on diets, do you think that your attitude just
It comes back. The weight comes back because you're not changing your behaviours, you're not changing your lifestyle. All you're doing is getting it all sucked out and then going back to your previous lifestyle behaviours, which is what got you there in the first place. And it's the same with the crash diets. You crash diets, you can't sustain it, so then you gain all the weight back. Now, this is actually a very good, important point, what she says right here.
food is a healthy one? Do you think, would you categorise what happened to you in the past as eating disorders?
Yes.
Probably very close to it at some point,
Yeah.
especially from being thrown from like randomly just chilling out in Wakefield, thinking I was going to like Leeds Uni, to then living in London and everybody else seemed so much skinnier than me at the time. So yeah, it was really unhealthy. And
It was probably her perception. She thinks everyone was skinnier than her because she's already expressed traits of someone with a bad relationship with food and eating disorders and body dysmorphia and that. So she probably just had it in her mind, like anorexics do, basically.
Okay, to kind of advocate all that sort of dieting, it was really extreme, but
extreme.
I don't know.
Do you think you've got rid of that? Do you think you have a healthy attitude to food now?
The thing is, I'm a bit like a dog. I kind of reward myself with food a bit.
Yeah.
Boom! There it is. There it is. What did they say? She rewards herself with food. This is something that we kind of address in the gym all the time. Is most people will starve themselves and then binge, and then starve themselves and binge, or they'll say, "Oh, being good for a few days," and then overcompensate for a few days after that, or whatever, or throughout the week, and then binge on the weekend because they feel they've been good, and then they stay the same. Now, she probably used to do that even when she was tiny, and that's why she's gained 6 stone now, because she just does that, but to a further extent. She even says here now, "I'll be good for a day, and then I'll reward myself the day after." That's 3 good days out of 7. What are you going to accomplish with that? And usually the bad days really, really offset the really good days.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So if I'm having a good day, I'll think, you need a Krispy Kreme now. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like
Krispy Kreme.
I do it with my son as well. Do you?
Yeah.
Do it with the son.
Kids, like
No, only Harvey I watched, but not the other ones because they're not.
Yeah,
Right.
because
I mean, you said that you were really miserable. I mean, you look at the pictures and you looked amazing, but you said you were really miserable. You're now what, a size 16, which is the average British woman's size.
Yeah.
The reason why it's the average British woman's size is because as a nation we're getting fatter by the year, and that's the way it is. So by saying, size 16, yeah, that's the average. That's the average for the UK, but the average for the UK is extremely unhealthy. So, you've got to look at the language here. That can make people think, "Oh, well, I'm a size 16. I'm okay then because I am average." Rather than saying, "Well, wait there, size 16 might actually mean that you've got a very high body fat percentage, and that's extremely unhealthy, and you're at risk for all these health risks in the future."
And you say you're a lot happier now.
I am, just because I suppose I do have a healthier approach to eating now, because I kind of don't limit myself. Well, it's not that I can go somewhere with Blakely to like a play gym or a soft play, and I can sit there and have a coffee and cake with the other mums
And not feel guilty.
Yeah. Whereas before I would have taken like a Tupperware box with plain grilled chicken breast, some spinach, and like a third of an avocado.
Here's the thing: you don't need to do that. So by saying, "Oh, well, I used to take Tupperware and with a little bit of spinach, avocado, and chicken," you don't need to do that. So once again, you're putting in people's minds that is what's necessary. That's the behaviour necessary in order to get lean and healthy. It's not. If you want a cream cake, it's cool, but just don't be doing it every other day, like you said two seconds ago. Do you know what I mean? So you're just putting false stuff in people's minds. Oh.
Feel about the magazines though, because they are so cool. I mean, I've seen you on the covers inside and out where they zoom in on parts. They say you've got cellulite, you've got your bum, your boobs, your fat. They say that all of this. That's got to hurt though.
The thing is, even when I was a size 6, I had cellulite. I've had cellulite. I think it's just one of those things, regardless of your size. It's hereditary, isn't it, really?
Well, here's the thing: you can't actually reduce your cellulite. The fact that she said she's always had cellulite, even when she was a size 6. But if you actually trained with weights and created a little bit more muscle definition and dieted properly to help remove the stubborn body fat, then the cellulite will go. You know, I've seen it. Like, you know, okay, you might always have it to a certain extent, but the more body fat that you have and the less muscle, then the chances of you having more cellulite are going to be higher. You know, it's just the way it is. So once again, it's just saying it's almost like it's the attitude of saying, oh well, I've always had cellulite, so you know whether I'm a size 6 or a size 16, it doesn't matter because I'm always going to have it. So what's the point of even trying? It's silly.
So that's not such a huge thing. I don't like this dude who said, what did he say about fat people?
Oh, we'll come on to that in a little bit.
So what about your, speaking of dudes, what about your boyfriend? What does he think?
Oh, he doesn't
happy
care.
At this school, she gets the boyfriend to say hello.
You know, to
I've
me,
never
looking
seen
at
it.
you now, you know, the way the magazines and the press have sort of gone on about it, it's as if you have gone from being a wee tiny twig to this gargantuan woman, and you're sitting there and you just look like a completely normal, lovely girl to me. I don't.
Normal being the average size for the UK woman, aka size 16, which is overweight, which is unhealthy. So yes, she you know, she is normal. Does that mean that she's healthy? Well, of course not. Normal and unhealthy these days are two completely different things.
I don't think I look like I'm going to eat you all.
That's not the point.
Is the weight gain part of a long-term plan?
No,
You're not going to.
saying this.
No, but you know, you're not going to suddenly unveil a fitness DVD and lose it all up.
There you go.
If someone said to me, I'll give you 30 grand to do a fitness DVD and drop whatever weight you want me to, because I'm a single parent, you know, it's about paying
So you
bills.
would.
Got her motives all screwed up. So yeah, do you know what? Right, I'll be overweight and unhealthy, you know, and even put those behaviours on my own kids. But tell you what, I'll get lean for 30 grand in my back pocket. Sounds, yeah.
If the money was right and if it was a
Yeah,
healthy
so you
thing,
would.
but I wouldn't sit
Well,
there
that's
and
why-
eat
why-
500 calories
yeah,
a day, and
hasn't got
I
that
didn't
yet.
gain the weight for that. I just
You don't need to eat 500 calories a day to lose weight. You're saying, oh, she's saying basically, if the money was there, I'd do a fitness DVD, provided it wasn't 500 calories a day and it was done in a healthy way. Look, here's the thing, why don't you just do it in a healthy way anyway and set a good example for your kids and for the nation? You're on a big, absolute massive TV program and you're putting out all this nonsense out there. It's stupid. Now loads of people are going to have this similar sort of mindset.
gained the weight because
But you did do it well out of everyone out there because you were big and then went tiny. You're one of the most memorable ones to me because you really did do it and you did it
I
quick.
did a lot of like exercise as well, and it was healthy what I was doing, the exercise, and the food was healthy if I would have eaten more of it. But I was eating about 500 calories a day, and
She can actually eat 3 times that amount, probably even 4 times that amount whilst exercising and lose weight. So rather than trying to lose 10 pounds in 1 week, she can lose 10 pounds over the space of 5 to 10 weeks and do it in a healthy way and eat 3-4 times as much. You don't need to do the extreme. She even said to herself she's done the extreme, but then she doesn't acknowledge that she doesn't need to do the extreme to lose the weight.
into bed starving and like.
Would you? I mean, some people would
constantly.
say that obviously, you know, you looked healthier then because you know you look like the typical sort of Instagram gym bunny kind of figure. Would you actually say that you're healthier now? Maybe
No.
not necessarily, you know, purely in terms of your food intake, because there's nothing wrong with a Tupperware thing of grilled chicken and spinach. But in terms of mentally, that you're happier with yourself.
Yeah, I think so, because I still go to the gym. I can still get through a spin class. You know, I don't like die in a corner like sweating. Well, I do after, but I still can get through the class. And then, I mean, I work out a lot. I do a lot of healthy things. We always go to, like, you know, the Go It adventure things, me and Blakely, and I do stuff. I don't just sit there and shove, like, pizza in my face.
Well,
But I do gain weight quite easily. I lose it quite easily if I'm really, really strict.
right, okay, so she said, I do lose weight easily, but I also gain it quite easily as well. Because she's doing the extreme, there's a spectrum, it's like a continuum. If you are doing, if you live down here, which is like crazy binge eating, and then lived or down here, which is starving yourself, wherever you live on that spectrum will dictate the outcome, but you don't need to live down here where you're starving yourself, or up here where you're binge eating. You can just live right in the centre and have a nice, happy lifestyle. It's ridiculous what she's actually saying.
One of those.
Oh, I'm very jealous of the lose it quite easily. If you're actually saying
Yeah,
if you're
She does, as I say, she doesn't lose it quite easily. Anyone who starves themselves is going to lose it fast. You know, it's just stupid.
really, really
Angry.
strict, it's the if you're really, really
Yeah.
strict bit that's so miserable.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just think, like,
Ask any of our clients, or ask any of the PTs out there who are watching this who don't get the clients to go less than 1,000 calories, and who get the clients, because I know there's some PTs out there who are probably watching this now who get the clients to do 500 to 700 calories a day, and if you do, you might sort of remove me from your friends list, but you don't need, it's unnecessary, you don't need to do that.
I would like to. The other day I went to This Morning. When I went doing my book, I was promoting my book a few years ago when I was slim. They put all croissant, they give you everything in your dressing room, and I was like, oh, of that, all the water. Oh, I went the other day, about 5 croissants. I did like help myself, I didn't limit myself. And then I just thought, oh, what a productive morning. Like, you just feel a bit better about yourself, don't you?
Well, you're going to be staying with us, aren't you? Because
Right, that's pretty much it. So she, after the break, she just gets undressed and walks around in a bikini to show that, you don't have to be super stick thin to be confident in your body, which, I completely agree with. If you can be confident in yourself, if you are a size 16, that's fine. But I just hate it because usually this type of talk comes with promoting bad behaviours, or saying that it's okay to be overweight. You heard yourself. I mean, this is ridiculous. You've got to analyse this stuff. You heard yourself. Like she's putting these behaviours on her kids. Now, I'm not some sort of crazy fitness freak who has all Tupperware food. Ask anyone who knows me. They know that I have such a flexible lifestyle. I'll go out on the weekends. I'll drink, but at the same time, I'll eat me good foods, fruit, veg, and all that. It doesn't have to be restrictive, and it doesn't have to be extreme. People choose either end of the spectrum. They'll either choose completely starving themselves because it's the fast result, and then when they can't do that and they can't sustain it, it's like, oh, screw this. I'll just eat loads, and I'll just binge eat. It's ridiculous. So if you're still here at the end of this video, just leave a comment. Let me know if you agree. I know it's like 18 minutes now, but I wanted to actually go through and break this down. Share it as well if you agree with this, especially if you're into fitness. And let's spread the word a little bit, because I hate when stuff like this goes on telly and there's no sort of actual explanations or logic in there, or it's just like duh, duh, absolutely stupid. So let me know if you agree with this, guys. I know it was a bit of a rant, but this is what it's come down to, So see you on the next video.